It's literally just giving me a seizure.
On the ground, preventing me from moving.
There's like nothing you can do. I'm so glad I record everything. This is great. I don't know if you can see my screen, Nate, but how are you supposed to play if one person decides they're gonna do this?
What about stun? Throw stun?
It ain't gonna matter. You'll be stunned for a bit. And he's gonna come back and do it.
That's right, folks. Grief mode is finally back, and you already know the best gamer in the whole wide world with the highest IQ, super attractive, has something to say about it because grief mode has some issues, and well, we're gonna need to dive right into it. So we're going to be talking about the origins of grief mode and then talk about the meta in grief mode that is honestly just destroying the fun of the game. Talk about if GobbleGums are pay to win or not. So sit back and relax because there's a lot to dive into. See, back in Black Ops 2, there was two very different modes, Turn and Grief. Turn was a mode where you get to play as the zombies and kill your opponents, which was fun, it really was, but it just needed to be worked on. And Grief, oh baby, Grief was a 4v4 match where two teams had a battle and see who was going to last the longest. Now there was no killing the other opponent, it was just actually instead every time you shot them or you meleeed them, it was a little bit of a stun. Now there's a reason why I'm going to be mentioning that because I'm going to mention that a little bit later on in the video, so please stay tuned. The way to mess with them, the most effective way, was to have zombie meat and throw it at the other team so zombies will be more aggressive to them. Or you can actually try to block the doorways, you can actually see if you can block just pathways, you can see if you can body block people. There was actually other ways to mess with the other team, and it was honestly kind of fun. It really was. It was very enjoyable, and it was actually a little bit competitive. You can actually do 1v1 matches, you could do 2v2 matches. It was really fun. But when Black Ops 2's life cycle ended, we never seen the mode for some time. We were wondering if the mode will ever return. Fans want it so bad, and well, it finally came. So grief mode is finally back, and on the surface it's kind of fun. You jump in 4v4, both teams trying to survive longer than the other. It's pretty much the same stuff like Black Ops 2, and there's even a set of challenges to complete, which adds some spice to the chaos. It's pretty cool. It honestly is, because if you complete a challenge, the other team will have to suffer a punishment. But there is one big issue, and it's only one word: melee. This has basically become the meta, and not in a good way. Now, honestly, folks, if you're playing seriously, chances are the other team is just gonna run at you. It's been happening to me, it happened to my friends, and they will just melee you non-stop. Now look, I know I'm the greatest gamer of all time, but come on man, you're making it really unfun, especially when I was on the live stream and I was playing with my friends. They couldn't even play the game.
This game mode makes me want to uninstall COD.
I hope they stub their toe.
Oh my god, this is unplayable. They're making this unplayable.
What were they doing?
You keep hitting and freaking slowing us down. You can't do nothing about it.
I'd love to say some very unfriendly things to these individuals that I would dare not say.
Chat, do you think these guys are kind of overreacting? Do you think grief mode is kind of
Nah, we're not overreacting. It's not a bad mode. I don't think it's a bad mode. It's just the people.
But that's kind of, well, you can't say they're not playing the game the way it's meant.
I know it's the way it has to be, but it's just like, at least like have this like where they hit you and slow you down like that. They shouldn't let you do that.
There should be a cooldown.
Honestly.
I wonder if there are any good memberships these days. Never really found any.
Whoa, you never found any good memberships? Look man, I gotta tell you something right now. What if I told you that there's actually a membership that I have that's only $4.99?
Only $4.99 a month?
Yeah, $4.99, and you actually get 37 exclusive videos along with actually exclusive live streams.
That sounds like a great deal.
Yeah, it's only $4.99, and you can just join in and become a member right now. Links are actually just in the description. All you have to do is click on the link, baby, and you become a member. There was just like no real strategy. There was no finesse, and it was just like a straight up brawler mode. And it makes the whole thing feel, I'm gonna be honest, it feels kind of broken. You'll be trying to hold a choke point, going for a revive, or just trying to move around, and some dude just runs up and starts swinging like he's in a bar fight. You gotta also add in the fact that shooting other players stuns them. So the stun in Black Ops 2 is very different. It's not actually something that players are just going to be shooting you with their whole magazine or just meleeing you non-stop. Black Ops 6, it's like that. You are just getting shot down, meleeed, non-freaking stop. So you got people kind of abusing mechanics, and it just ends up becoming like a slap fest. So people will just come at you and just keep hitting you and hitting you and hitting you, and it's just like, is this really fun? Is that actually how you're supposed to be playing the game? There's like no cooldown, no balance, just stun, melee, repeat it. It becomes less of a battle for survival and more of a slapfest, like I just said. Now, let me be fair. There are moments where melee actually works well. For an example, if someone's just trying to revive a down teammate and you sneak in and interrupt with a quick melee, that's hype. That's actually tactical. That adds on tension and some solid counterplay. Because if someone actually goes down and you just actually are trying to block them off, and it's just like, no, you ain't getting him. You ain't getting him. You ain't getting him. See, that kind of interaction is really freaking cool. But outside of that, it just feels spammy and frustrating, especially in situations where you're just trying to complete a challenge and suddenly you get stun locked by two people. Like you're in a 2v1 Street Fighter match or freaking Star Wars where you're versing Darth Maul. It's just like so frustrating. But let's actually talk about the challenges while we're at it. I'll give them credit. They add something to the mode. They force you to move around, change up your playstyle a bit, but there's only 4 of them, and they repeat. Over, and over, and over again. So after a few matches, you already know exactly what's coming. It kills the replay value very, very fast. And combine that with the melee spam, some games can just get ridiculously just one-sided. And the biggest missed opportunity is that there's no private matches. Let me say that again, no private matches. You can't just set up a friendly 4v4 with your squad. You can't even play with just your friends without just randoms jumping in. This would be a perfect mode for custom matches, but instead, you're stuck hoping the matchmaking doesn't drop you into a melee-only sweatfest. So yeah, grief mode is still fun, but it would just help out so much if there was a private lobby that you can do. Because you can actually do 1v1s with your friends, 2v2 with your friends, just like in Black Ops 2. Why we can't do that in Black Ops 6, I have no idea. But this melee meta, it's ruining the pacing and turning competitive matches into a slapstick comedy routine. But you're actually going to wonder for this next one, because you're going to wonder if grief mode is actually pay to win or not. Alright, so this is actually a tough one, because grief mode is fun and frustrating, but is GobbleGums actually paid to win? And it's actually time to dive into this, because it's kind of controversial. And more specifically, are they actually paid to win? Now, on one hand, I want to say yes, you can buy GobbleGums with real money. You can stock up on the best ones, stack your loadout, and basically give yourself a huge advantage when you're going into the match. You're spending cash for power, it's plain and simple. But on the other hand, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You can also earn them just by playing. No microtransactions required. So technically you don't have to spend money to compete. It's not locked behind a paywall, So is it really pay to win if everyone can eventually earn them? See, that's where I'm actually stuck at. Because even though they're earnable, there's no denying that GobbleGums are incredibly strong. Sometimes even game-changing. Like, for example, Perkaholic. Everybody knows Perkaholic. Perkaholic can get you all the perks. It's almost like a second life or an instant escape card if you have GobbleGums that can get you out of a corner, GobbleGums that can make you revive teammates if you're close by. They're way more useful than score streaks in this mode. And you may be wondering, well, why? Well, if you pop a score streak or jump into something like a Mangler suit, guess what? The other team can literally shoot you out of it, like very fast. Like really, really fast. It makes score streaks feel kind of underpowered, but GobbleGums actually no, they give you way more value than score streaks. And it's no surprise people rely on them as a crutch to get out of bad situations. Now, here's where it gets a little sketchy. Did they intentionally make GobbleGums more useful than score streaks to push people into spending money on them? I don't really know. I'm not going to put on a tinfoil hat here, but you kind of have to wonder. And yeah, you can steal power-ups if someone pops a double points or an insta-kill, and if you're fast enough, that is yours now, so you can technically steal a double points if someone pops a GobbleGum of it. It adds a little chaos, but it also makes you feel like even paid advantages aren't safe, which is kind of funny, not gonna lie. So where do I land on all this? Honestly, I'm kind of mixed. On paper, it sounds pay to win. In practice, you can grind for everything, and GobbleGums don't guarantee victory. Well, you still have to play smart, survive the zombies, and outlast the other team. They're strong, but they don't make you invincible. So for me, I'll honestly say it's not really pay to win, but it's a pay for a head start. And yeah, that's still a little sketchy. But how the community responded to my criticism is going to shock you. So let's talk about the community, because ever since I started bringing up the melee spam problem, I've been seeing the same response over and over and over again. Skill issue. Yep, that's the go-to reply now, right? You say the melee meta is broken, skill issue. You got stun locked by the other team and can't move, skill issue. You use a GobbleGum and they hunt you down across the map to slap you out of your ability, skill issue. Basically what I mean by that is basically if you pop anywhere but there, they will still come and find you and just kind of spam melee, right? Which is so freaking annoying. But let me ask you this. What are you supposed to do in that situation? You try to pop a GobbleGum, they find you and stun you. You try to shoot back, well, you both get stunned, and now you're just locked in this weird dance of who's gonna get mobbed by zombies first. Is that fun? Is that even strategy? Or are we just abusing mechanics at this point? And yet, when anyone criticizes it, there's a portion of the community ready to throw hands over it. It's like if you point out anything that feels off, you're not just critiquing the mode, you're suddenly insulting them personally. And listen, I get it. When you like something and someone comes in pointing out flaws, it can feel like an attack. But we got to be able to separate ourselves from the game. Saying the melee spam is unbalanced doesn't mean the entire mode is trash. That's not at all what I'm saying. It means it needs tuning. That's all. There is a difference between defending a game mode you love and just flat out ignoring issues because you don't want to admit they exist. And if we keep brushing off legit feedback as a skill issue, guess what? The devs aren't going to change anything because all they see is people arguing instead of pushing for actual improvements. The truth is, we all want grief mode to thrive. We want it to be fun, competitive, and chaotic in the right way, not frustrating in the why can't I move kind of way. So the next time someone shares criticism, instead of saying get good, maybe ask how could this be better? But is there actual improvements we can achieve? Or is Black Ops 6 grief mode going to just disappear and be forgotten? Well, the answer is kind of easy. One improvement is private matches need to be here. But is it possible? Technically, there is no private matches in COD Zombies. just turning off a fill option. I still like to think it is possible, and I think if you add a private lobby, it will fix this, because now you can have house rules if you want, and you can actually have 1v1s and or 2v2s. The second thing is to just fix the stun. Like, yeah, getting shot all the time is just quite annoying, and it should be used strategically instead of just like spamming non-stop. That's just not fun. And the next one is this: just add more challenges, because you know what? As of right now, if you actually complete an objective, the punishments aren't actually necessarily that bad. Some of them you just lose ammo, which is cool and all. It's cool, but now you're just having the person just running around, and it just doesn't feel like that much of a punishment. I think there should be more crazy stuff. Like, for an example, like, instead of just doing punishments, it could be just missing out on something. Like, for an example, I know there is golden armor, which what you can do is that maybe if the team completes it, they get to have golden armor for a few rounds, and that would be really freaking OP. That would be like, oh my god. Or if we're not gonna go that route, we can just make it to where like they can't even do score streaks for like a round. I think that would be also great too. Or even if you really want to attack them where it hurts the most, if you can somehow implement where if you win an objective, the other team can't actually use GobbleGums. That would actually help out the situation too if GobbleGums are pay to win, because now it's like, holy woolly, we have to win this objective. But that's just my opinion. But folks, it's time for me to tell you guys to do something for me. Make sure you leave a like, make sure you leave a comment, and make sure to subscribe, because the best gamer of all time is signing off.